The Dark Ages never happened. What do you mean the Dark Ages never happened? What I mean is that the period after the fall of the Roman Empire and when that intellectual decline of culture and art that was supposed to have happened in the European West, the Western Roman Empire, where it crumbled and everything went to crap for centuries. That didn't actually happen the way that we thought it happened. What you're saying is that the Western European Empire, the Western Roman Empire, did collapse, and people that we talk about did live during that time, and the events and wars and plagues and famines and all that happened. But the way we've written about it is not exactly how it happened. That's exactly what I'm saying. Let's talk about it. Hi, my name is Brandon Foster, and I have a master's degree in history, and I primarily focus on the late antiquity, which is the fall of the Roman Empire, all the way up into what is now called the early Middle Ages, and I end somewhere around the end of the Carolingian dynasty, which is Charlemagne's, his children, and his grandchildren, that kind of whole period. If you enjoy that type of history and that time period, please leave a like, comment, share, all the stuff. I really appreciate it, and it will grow my channel. I also do writing on Substack. The Dark Ages is a term coined a long time ago, and it kind of stuck for a while. It was really popular with humanists during the 15th century, 16th century, but by the time we got to the 19th century, it stopped being popular. People or historians started discovering new manuscripts, archaeology started discovering new things, and we started piecing together that this period was not as dark culturally and artistically as we used to think. We used to think that art basically ended, that writing basically ended, that nothing really creatively or culturally significant happened during this time. And we now know that that's not exactly true. Yes, things did look different in the years 500, 600, 700, 800, all the way up to 1000, which is when the Dark Ages traditionally ends. But that difference wasn't because of cultural and artistic decline. It was because things had changed. Things had transitioned from a Mediterranean-centric world, where Rome was, to a Central European-centric world, where Paris was. And that is where the intellectual world was, or Aachen under Charlemagne. The Dark Ages didn't actually occur in the fact that the dark intellectual, cultural, artistic world didn't collapse. It did have a momentary decline after the Roman Empire fell. So somewhere around the 470s into kind of the 6-ish hundreds, there was this short period where things were kind of crumbling a little bit. But this overall centuries long, again, the Dark Age lasted from about 400 to 500 all the way up to 1000. This whole 6-ish 100-year period of just absolute cultural and artistic deadness did not actually occur. There was a short dip when things kind of collapsed, and during that time you also had the Arabic invasion, you had the Slavic invasion from the north, and then eventually you would have the Viking invasion. And while those things of course had dips in them, the European world still grew into a very complex, beautiful culture with their own artistic expression, their own forms of architecture, all this type of stuff. So none of that really stopped. But what happened was there was this dip, and then people, again, in the 14th century started thinking that they were in this decline and the world was ending intellectually. And that is where we get the concept of the Dark Age. And historians don't really follow that anymore, but it's still pretty common in the outside academia world. So yeah, the Dark Ages didn't happen, but the Dark Ages did happen. It's confusing. Like, comment, share, all that stuff. Thanks.